Hey everybody, it's your girl Bunny. To all of my returning subscribers, hey, how you doing? And for those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. Kick your feet up, subscribe to this family-friendly channel, and don't forget to click the notification bell so you don't miss any posts. Also follow me on Instagram at the same profile name so you don't miss the sneak peeks of what's coming up next. In this video, it's the final season of Queen Sugar, episode 4, entitled Spaces Fill. I give a full episode recap with photos offset to the side, and then I give my review at the end. No need to dig around. I keep all of the minute marks in the comments. It's all coming up next. Darla and Ralph enjoy the pool as she helps him to understand the concept of floating. It's all about relaxing and letting the water hold you up. Once Ralph places the trust in Darla in the water, he relaxes and begins to float. Blue layers on the butter while pointing out the positives of him being suspended. This means I will get to come home earlier. After the call, Darla can't believe Blue would do such a thing. Maybe they might suspend him. Ralph suggests to go with her, but Darla insists that he needs to stay at home. The auction and the first harvest is coming up. She quickly gives him the rundown of additional details needed for their daughter, but Ralph says the baby is fine and he has everything under control. Billy stops by in the morning to see her dad and is a little surprised to see Sandy there. It's awkward, but Billy realizes that this is his home, and they seem very happy. Unfortunately, her breakfast with Vince didn't go well. She's conflicted about her life and what's next. Being in her hometown has changed her. Before she can get too deep into the conversation, Sandy comes back into the room, but Billy insists that she will come back another time. Body language tells it all, that she really needed to speak with her dad in this moment. Vi sets up the restaurant and she thinks that a customer has come there a little too early. Instead, it's an employee from social services looking for Joaquin. She's been looking for him and his brother Dante for 3 weeks. They haven't been to school and it's believed that they have no adult supervision. She heard that he works there, but please let her know if he pops up. It always starts with skipping school and then it doesn't go so well. Cardell has reservations when it comes to adding his land to the land trust. His land has been in the family for over 3 generations, and he wants to keep it that way. Ralph and Mo explain to him that the trust protects everyone. Also, during the auction, Ralph has an idea that they can bid against one another to lock in an amount. They have money and have all pulled together, plus some left over. If they pull together, they can win Parthena's land back. Micah and Zane return the Ivory NFT, and Micah notices an employee doesn't give him a welcome in return as before. Micah wants to know, what's up with the guys? They didn't even dap me up. Zane reminds him that I told you, you're only as good as your last sale. Your last political photos didn't sell. Zane shows what's selling, screenshots of a heated argument with the girl and her ex, and a boomerang photo of LeBron James. It's sold for over $200K. Micah says that he doesn't want to place his exes on blast, and Zane sees an old video of Charlie upset after finding out about West's affair. Now this is a sell. Maybe you can even talk to your dad to see if he can get pics of LeBron. Micah isn't up for it. Plus, he needs to leave to take care of some assignments at school. He has to catch strangers in the moment. As Micah walks away, he wonders if Ivory NFT was such a good idea. Vi addresses Joaquin. There was a social service worker here looking for you and your brother. She didn't tell the worker that he worked there, but she needs details and the truth now. He explains that his mother has not been home in weeks. She always told them growing up that if she never came home, ICE got her, and to hide. He's sorry for not telling Vi, but him and his brother, if they get separated in childcare, they just can't. His mother even called him from Mexico, and she'll come back for them. They just need to stay put. Vi wants to know where him and his brother are staying now. Vi is able to see where they've been staying, and also that Dante has a black eye from fighting at school. She's seen enough. She wants them to pack because they're coming home with her. Ralph Angel sees an old friend, Twan. They compliment one another on fatherhood, and Twan shares that they tried 4 rounds of IVF and finally received their miracle baby. Darla and Blue are fine. She went to DC because he got into a little trouble. Twan is glad that Ralph is there. They're usually the only black people in the room. It's great to show some strong black fathers, too. It's pretty easy, but all you have to do is clap and have a good time. Darla wants Blue to apologize. It's illegal to hack into the school's server. Principal Jacob takes a moment to view Blue's side of the matter. Blue felt that the school's history lessons were lacking, but hacking into the system is unacceptable. Darla presses, "Blue, is there something you need to say to Principal Jacobs?" Blue takes a moment to think and says directly to the principal, "In our class, we learned a quote from Walt Whitman. Do I contradict myself? Very well, I contradict myself. I am large. I contain multitudes. We've been on the ground. Asante Shakur taught us that we have nothing to lose but our chains. We've been in the sky. Betsy Coleman, the first Black woman, the first Indigenous woman to hold a pilot's license. Mae Jemison took up and went up to space in 1992. All of these names we never hear about. We contain multitudes, and the school doesn't teach us any of it." The principal understands his insight, but cyber breaking and entering is not the correct way. Darla agrees that his method was wrong, although what he did was giving the school a service. Has the school considered adding this to the curriculum? Blue adding that information should be rewarded, not punished. Hollywood is a little bothered. Vi, you couldn't have sent me a warning via phone call or text? Something to let me know that you're bringing home 2 whole human beings? Adding that to our home? Plus Joaquin, he's the same boy who wrecked your diner. Vi explains that after seeing how they were living, they have no other family, that they've all that they've got. She's not sure how long they will stay, but for now, just a few days until they can figure out everything. Vince reminisces on how they would always talk about things and it would lead to passionate sex and them planning out things about their lives. But Billy clarifies they would always talk about what he wanted, his future. She took a pause for family and she always wanted to be a lawyer, but he's confused. He would ask her over and over again, millions of times throughout the years, if she wanted to go back to school and even if she wanted to get married. So please don't revise things. Billy claims that she felt stuck. It wasn't because of him, it was because of her. She went from being a bad daughter to a bad friend and even mother, and she didn't want to be a bad wife. She was stuck in her head. Coming back to her hometown made her realize that she wasn't a bad daughter or friend. She was taken advantage of. She was assaulted and abused. She was disbelieved, then dismissed. Who I am now, me finding out everything, I found out that it isn't true. Maybe I'm better than what I thought. I punished myself. I never gave you all of me. I never wanted anyone to get all the way in. And I need to be fixed inside. And that's what I'm doing here, Vince. That's what I need, you to allow me to do this. Vince is saddened at her experience, but completely understands Billy now. As the fellas pack up, Dwan explains that he reflected and he had to resign as a cop. After the baby, he just realized that what's worth risking every day, not his life. He was a good cop, but he didn't love it. He started to love helping others. Now him and his wife run a center for trans children. He heard what happened about the farm, but wishes Ralph well. He even looks forward to seeing him in another parent session. Micah admires a stranger, saying that the art reminds him of Kennedy Carter's work. She wants to know if Rahad told him that, and Micah laughs that, yeah, he's busted. He formally introduces himself and informs her that his professor wanted him to capture a stranger who shares their story. She calls out Rahad again. She laughs. He's still in my entire act. Those were the exact things that I instructed Rahad to do when he was my student. Besides, what makes me interesting anyway as a stranger? Micah loves her energy, beauty, swag, style, everything. They both get lost into the photo, and it's an epiphany. She is Kennedy Carter. She pours out that the woman in the photo was the love of her life, and she would always get lost into her eyes, and allows Micah to take a few photos. Now Kennedy wants to know Micah's story. Micah can't explain what it is exactly, and Kennedy wants an answer the next time that she sees him. If he doesn't know, others will define that for him. Nova sends a text to Dominic along with the photo of a document. Think this is age appropriate? I don't want to scare those white kids, or do I? Nova then gets a call that she needs to know the final decisions of the book to movie opportunity. The producers need to know an answer ASAP and want to come to New Orleans to meet her. Nova isn't sure. She hasn't even had a chance to ask the family with everything going on. But decisions need to be made soon, and she requests Nova to work her magic. Darla and Blue enjoy a treat while discussions of how he's amazing, and she applauds his talents. He's so anxious in building a website for the co-op and Vi's Pies. A stranger approaches and notices Darla. Darla? Is that you? Darla confirms, and now she's Darla Bordelon, and her son Blue is 11 years old. The lady can't believe it. Has it been 11 years since we've been in college? My, how time flies. Darla plays off being uncomfortable and asks Blue to get some more sprinkles for their treats. The lady continues, wow, he looks just like Chase. You and Chase, you guys did have a moment. Did you know that he's running for Congress? Darla stops her, holding back tears. Ralph Angel is his father. We never had a moment. I was unconscious, and I don't want to talk about it. Please, just let it go. When Blue comes back to the table, Darla wants to quickly leave. The auction is set to begin, and Prosper notices that majority of the people present are from the co-op, and that's a good sign. The auction begins. A 100-acre plot of foreclosed farmland, item C24. He starts the bidding. $200K. The auction begins. $200K, then $210, then $215. Can anyone do $220? $230. And Ralph bids $240. Can anyone else do better than $240? $240 going once, $240 going twice, and there's a yell from the back of the room. $700K. It's Sam Landry. He shouts, I'll pay $700K for that gorgeous maintained land. The auctioneer continues. $700 going once, going twice, sold to Landry Enterprises. Ralph can't take it anymore. Wait, Landry. Sam gloats. The other day I was about to unwind with a drink in my hand, and then I hear the city council was moved by your ring shout, and they reversed the decision. Nova says that Parthena had nothing to do with that, but Sam isn't fazed. He taunts. You borderlones never leave well enough alone. Maybe this time you'll learn. Sorry about that, Parthena. Billy enjoys old photos of her dad and her mom. Prosper was happy that he had such a wonderful wife like Claire and a great daughter. He wants Billy to give Vince a second chance. He wants her to be at the potluck and celebrate the first harvest. Ignacio thanks Vi and Hollywood for taking care of his sons. He's so happy that they're safe, eating, and going back to school. Everyone he knows is trying to find their children and stay together. He begs for them not to let them get lost in the system. His church got him a lawyer, and they suggested that he request legal guardianship. Hollywood and Vi offer their guidance and care for them as long as they need. They say hello to their dad, and he wants their boys to be on their best behavior. The social worker stops by to evaluate Vi and Hollywood's home, and Vi oversells. Their house is full of love, they've got full of food, and Joaquin even wants her to go more organic. The social worker notices alcoholic beverages, and they confirm that they will remove those as soon as possible. Also, she'll confirm that she'll allow temporary guardianship while the application processes, but all the adults living in the home will have to pass a background check. Now Vi and Hollywood know, while looking one another in the eyes, that Ralph Angel may be an issue. Darla is glad to be home and is proud that Ralph Angel held everything down while she was gone. He wants to know how things went on her trip, and she's reserved to speak, but says everything went fine, disguising the hurt with another kiss. Lucille stops by, and she received an invitation from Prosper to come by to the potluck. Something about love and miracles. They laugh that Prosper, without a doubt, is smitten. Lucille then sees Billy commenting about how she's once again all up on someone else's husband, now your current husband. Vi checks the conversation. Hollywood is not her current husband. He's her forever husband. Also, all of those things said about Billy in the past were spread by Jimmy Dale, a grown man who forced himself on a young child. When Billy witnesses that Vi has defended her, she mouths to Vi, "Thank you." Micah tries to convince some of the peers from Ivory NFT that they don't have to sell vibes. They have the power to set the trends, and they could be the next vanguards. His words seem to dampen the room, and now Zane wants to speak with Micah in private. Zane is pissed and confused, Micah, you came to me and I invested in you. You made one lucky sale and now you're going against our study? Micah is talented, smart, but maybe Ivory NFT isn't for you. It's not for everyone. No matter what, we'll still be cool. As Zane walks away, Micah views the boomerang of the hurtful moment in his mother's life. They're leaving for the party. Is he coming? And Micah says that he'll catch up with them later. Micah views the boomerang photo one more time before he uploads the photo on his Ivory NFT account. Vince arrives and greets Billy with love. Her dad insisted he not leave until he said goodbye. Billy loves that he's there, and they take a moment to be transparent. He says he doesn't know how much time she needs, but he wants her to know that he's patiently waiting. He knows that what she went through is traumatic, and she needs time to heal. This is the last time, though. If she chooses to be with him, things need to be different. No more secrets or distance. If you come back, they get married and grow together. Or we don't. No more in between. Prosper enters the room with the band as everyone enjoys the music. He then invites Sandy to dance. When the music comes to a close, he's happy that this is the first harvest and they've been through a lot by miracle. And Sandy is his miracle. She's made him happier and the happiest he's been in years. It's a proposal. Sandy, will you marry me? She says yes, and the room roars with excitement. Billy is also happy for her dad. And that is the end of the episode. And now it is time for your favorite part of the video. That's right, my review. So let's talk about the end cap of the episode. Billy and Vince getting some closure about what's next. I did predict in the review before that I honestly feel Billy went through the motions with him, knowing that she had some feelings about women, or maybe she was bisexual, and she went into the lifestyle that she really didn't want. Being married and having the children, she did admit that in this episode she felt trapped and inside her own head, and this happens every day. People get caught up in lifestyles that they really didn't want, or maybe had a lifestyle what they thought that everybody else expected them to do. She placed on hold what she wanted to do, her career, being a lawyer, so much stuff, right? She comes back home and she's reflecting, she's realizing that what was thought about her and what was said about her were other people's expectations, were other people's norms that she lived in her life. And she's wondering, wow, I lived a life that other people expected me to live. That correlates with Micah. When he gets the warning from the artist photographer Kennedy, she says, do you know your life? Can you tell me what your life is about? What's your story? And the fact that he doesn't know correlates with the character Billy. He has to know what's going on in his life. He's a young man, but he has to make a stance. What does he want to do? What makes him happy? And unfortunately, we see that he succumbs to not only the peer pressure, but also the underlying issue of this whole entire episode, money. Characters are going through this realm of finance and finance having power over a situation. Now, Micah isn't pressed for cash. This is this peer pressure insight. Am I an artist? Am I NFT? Am I a person that's invested in NFT? Succumbing to the pressure, not even thinking about how this will affect his mother. That moment, if you guys have been rocking with the show since season 1, know how painful of a moment that was for Charlie, finding out that her husband is cheating and also publicly humiliated to the point to where she goes down to the basketball court and is screaming at the top of her lungs, not thinking that everybody is watching. And the unfortunate moments of people recording her, it being on the news, just publicly embarrassed. So he's so forthright and painting somebody else's expectations of him selling an NFT. You're only as good as your last sale. Him feeling not wanted and not desired in his art. Okay, that he has this moment of not thinking logically, but thinking with emotion. Now, I did say in the last review that I'm happy that Billy has received this closure. She's finding out who she is. She's trying to move forward. But this being the last season, I'm really not interested in Billy. It's like, okay, we found out what was said about Billy wasn't true and she got closure with Vi. It was this crescendo of a season. But I really want to get to the core of the cast. I really want to get to the core of the characters. And I wish that they just not spend that much time with Prosper and Billy. It's great that we're seeing this moment with Prosper finally being happy, moving on, finding love. But I really want us to focus in on the core characters because this is the last season. And I don't want it to be just stretched out to characters that we could just move on from. It's like, okay, Vince, can you go home? Billy, can you do your healing? Okay, cool. We need to get to Ralph Angel to land. What's going on? All this other stuff, right? Them adding in the characters, Joaquin, Dante, and the social worker. It's like, ugh. It's kind of frustrating me. Now, unless they're going to 12 episodes, they can, you know what I mean? They can kind of press forward with this additional information. But as I predicted in the last few reviews, I do think that Charlie will help with a lot of her connections and come in and save the farm and use her connections with a lot of the campaign information. But of course, she's been doing well in her campaign. But now that this image has been re-released, it won't surprise me if this will be sold at a high marking because she's a big name. Her husband is a big name, and somebody can't wait to scoop up that art. It wouldn't surprise me if it got up to dang near the million, right? Because the boomerang of LeBron James sold for over 200K. It's just really embarrassing. So hopefully we'll see what's up with that. When it comes to Nova, her being excited and kind of drawing out, asking the family about what they think to this book to movie opportunity. It once again driven by money. This 6-figure idea of we can bring this into the family. Now, if they moved from book to movie, I know a lot of viewers are probably thinking, okay, well, they can use that money to save the farm, right? But we get into this underlying thing of this season so far. What is worth sanity and what is worth peace, right? Selling this item, right, as Rahad mentioned, the professor. What is worth more? Art, the money, the attention, what is worth more? So this family is going to have to decide, is the embarrassment of Darla and her experience and how this is hurting her less than what I want with my desire, getting this money from this production company and getting more attention, because all it's going to do is add fuel to the flame. So that is the big hiccup there. Now, Blue having his moment with the breaking and entering, when it comes to the cyber breaking and entering and adding information. Yes, he went about it wrong, and it could have been presented to the school differently, true, but it's those moments of reviewing the schools across the board. We have this one-sided bias of only viewing one side of history, which is white history, quote unquote, in America. It's something that needs to be addressed because we can't just see one side, and we can't just see slaves as the black history of America. It's something that's constantly being swept under the rug by a lot of schools. And I love the Easter egg in the episode that's something that is a real issue. It's something that we're not discussing enough. When Ralph met his friend Twan, that he hasn't seen in years, we remember him from the previous episodes and how they met each other and how they've evolved, right? Being on the opposite end of the law and correcting a lot of the things in their lives. Seeing the representation of Black men, their children, the sessions when they have with the children, getting to know each other, interacting. The more that you start to enter different school systems, you start to see a lacking of certain ethnicities. There's a lot of undermining issues with that as well. Not only representation, but the fear of being around a certain group of people who maybe don't want you there. They've already had these negative experiences in their lives with white people. So a lot of people of color do not feel comfortable in those sessions. We have the Karens, we have the racism, we have everything, right? So it makes you reserved, and I don't even want to go to that. But his friend Twan is saying, hey, I'm glad that you're here. We're representing. It's only the white girls here. Let's bring our children. We deserve to enjoy this session as well. He's investing, another Easter egg here, the underlying premise of the season so far. What makes you happy? He said that, hey, I quit my job as a police officer. I was a good police officer, but I wasn't happy. His wife was upset at first, but then he invested in his happiness. Underlining thing again. Are you investing in your happiness? What's worth more than money? What's giving you sanity? What's giving you love? It's It's like beating the drum, right? Helping the audience understand what is more important in your life, things that make you happy. Money's great. It helps you function. It helps you get things that you need in your life. But what is most important? Also, let's talk about vibe. Vibe means well. But as we've seen in every season, I have mentioned that Vi has an impulse habit of making decisions herself without consulting Hollywood, and it's frustrated Hollywood in the past. She's done it again. He's a caring person. He wants the best, but he didn't. He's like, hey, I didn't get a phone call. Like, I didn't get a text or anything. He just brought them home. He's very caring and he's very understanding, but once again, Vi is pushing the envelope. She's pushing and poking the bear and offering their home and not asking him. It gives this dominance of this is my house and not ours. Not only is Ralph Angel and Darla and the baby there, but now you've invited 2 more people. Now I have to be kind of okay with that because you've thrown us into this situation. I really want to see what's going to happen with those 2 characters, but once again, characters that I really don't care about. You added in Ignacio and the kids and also I don't care. I want to know what's going on with the Landrys and everybody. I want to Parker, everybody. Can we throw away these additional characters that we really don't care about? I want to get to the root. This is the last season and I just hope that they wrap it up in a nice bow and not exactly a Disney perfect ending, but giving us an idea of what to expect in the future. Let me know what you think. Subscribe, like this video, click that notification bell so you don't miss any posts, and follow me on Instagram. Also, stay tuned and binge watch the final recaps and reviews of the Emmy Award winning FS original series Atlanta. This is the final season of Atlanta, and if you haven't seen the previous seasons, make sure that you binge watch. I have it in the playlist and I have it in the description area. If you can't find it, just check out the previous post. Check out Bell Collective reality show and also the reality dating show that we also have that is for Ready to Love Miami. Also check out another Emmy award-winning Hulu original series, The Handmaid's Tale. Binge watch on that. If you haven't seen the previous seasons, make sure that you binge watch on that. Don't worry, I got you. I always got you. In the meantime, in between time, remember to take care of yourself and each other. Bye.